idea here was to reintroduce the Oberheim 2 voice that I first did in 1975, and although this may sound strange, one of the motivations was always my favorite Oberheim, but I never had one, so I wanted one. So why not do that? It's after I brought out the SCM. I thought a natural thing to do, but I kind of went wild on the sequencer. Now it's a monophonic keyboard, but you've got 2 SCMs, 4 oscillators, etc., etc. So it's the big sound. As part of now this works in either when you're playing the keyboard or playing the sequencer. It has portamento and
yeah.
So another thing you can do is be in polyphonic mode, and there's an SCMA first mode. So you play it and always go to that. The first note you play always go
That sounds beautiful.
So it lets you use one of the SEMs as a pedal tone.
Yes, and you can portamento on.
Oh, nice. Full-on semi-modular architecture, right? You can patch anything to anything else.
Almost anything to anything. Basically, you have a Pro. Well, this part of the patch panel, and this part of the patch panel is almost identical to what's on the Pro. Namely, everything along here is outputs. So you have the sawtooth and pulse of both oscillators, the whatever filter mode you'd selected, or bandpass. You've got the output of the LFO, output of the envelopes. And then up here, you've got they're normalizing jacks for CVN for both oscillators, the external frequency for both oscillators, the filter frequency and the external filter frequency, LFO trigger, and tune. So it's just about everything and in the case of it's 8 of the inputs that are normalizing, so you can bring them in. It disables whatever's there.
The action feels really good. I'm just wondering what you used for
This is a FTAR, but with weights in the keys, which I like.
Really nice.
Yeah, I don't like that real light feel. Now, in addition to the patch panel things having to do with each SEM, we've also got outputs for the wheel. You can send the wheel somewhere. You can send the vibrato oscillator. I'll explain that in a minute. And you can also send the sample hold circuit out. And also you've got the velocity plus aftertouch from the A side of the keyboard and from the B side, and then aftertouch by itself. And both on the front here and on the back, you have CV and gate for both signals. You know, there's an A and a B, whether it's coming from the keyboard or from the sequencer. The volt per octave and gate for both A and B are on the back or up here. So you can run another. You can't get polyphony. It can't get any more polyphony than 2, but you can double up other voices.
Right.
I got to tell you a story about this. I was, of course, been rushing for a year and a half to get this thing done, and I threw my, Joff.
Yes.
This guy that worked for me at Oberheim 25 years ago, who's now my distributor for the U.S. Joff FAR. He knew I wanted to get some pre-sales on this, and he hooked me up with Zach Smith. Do you know him?
Sounds familiar.
He runs the GarageBand and what is it? A Logic?
Logic.
Logic.
Apple.
Yeah. And so he was interested in one, and at that point in time, I knew that this patch panel was going to be such a monster design job that I was thinking of selling it without. I was going to have two models and do the non-patch panel version first, since it was easier, and then do the get it going, sell a few, and then go back and do this. So I went down to Apple, and this guy Zach Smith, when I talked to him, he said, "Well, there's 3 or 4 other guys that are interested." So I got down to Apple. There are 21 people there and 5 online video from Germany. And the point was that, I mean, some people are just casual, interested bystanders. They're never going to buy a $3,500 synth. But there were 3 or 4 people there that were truly interested, and they all said the same thing. Well, I only want the patch panel version. So then I had Joff go out and talk to the people that had shown an interest, dealers. Nobody wants it without the patch panel, even though it's basically $500 thing. So I got to do it. So I just took 2 solid weeks where I didn't do anything else and designed this in. And it's a beast. I mean, it's a good design, but it's basically 120 feet of wire inside. If I take one of these out, you see these big bundles of wire, because every one of these jack, not the mulch, but every other one of the jack is either 1 or 2 wires going to the SEM. And there's basically 30 wires going here, 30 wires there, and then there's for the normalizing jack, where their signals also have to go back the other way, and then some other interconnections. So it's just a monster, but it's great. It works great, and I'm very proud of the design there. So.
Sounds great.
So
It does.
It sounds incredible. There's really nothing on the market right now that can sound like this.
Of course, for me, the most interesting part, since the original had, you could play 2 notes on the keyboard. It was a little funky because it was an analog scheme like the old 2600 had, sort of. And there was no storage of patches and other stuff. So, but I'm real proud of the mini sequencer. And you've heard a little bit of it. I put some patches in there, and it's to obviously play the sequencer. The first thing you have to do is select in the assignment that the sequence drives both modules. So, as you see, this column is for SCMA, and it can be the sequencer, the A section of the sequencer, or sample hold circuit. Going, that's not in the knobs, that's from flash memory.
Oh wow.
Because this is what's in those knobs now, or was in the knobs, because, which I'll show you in a minute, the essence of this is right now the knobs don't do anything. So what's that all about?
Yeah, what is all about?
Hey, the knob, I'm turning the knob, it doesn't do anything. Why is that? So now I'm down to 1 note sequence. Doesn't do anything. What's that about? Well, one thing I discovered early on is that I can design a sequence in the knobs, I can store it in flash memory, and comes out of flash, and maybe one of these knobs was right on the edge, because it's quantized to semitones, right on the edge, and so I bring this out I bring this great sequence I've recorded and stored in flash, and it comes back, it's not what I put in there. So I made the decision that when you first pull something out of flash memory, the knobs are disabled. So all you have to do, however, if you want to print something, you just go into edit mode. So there's an edit A and an edit B. Now the knobs work. That's all you have to do is go into edit mode. I'm thinking of, you're on a gig and you've got a sequence that's really important to a tune that you're doing, and you call out and the knob is moved a little. that's a
Yeah,
disaster.
it's all bad.
So you recall
And it's dark, and you're trying to find the.
that's right. It's
position.
dark, and what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you pull something out of Flash, it's going to stay there until you specifically go into edit mode.
Right, that's smart.
So okay, let's say we do a 4-note sequence. So I'll shut them all off. So
So you can cycle through it as you're, so you
Yeah,
can kind of, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And that makes it so easy to program.
So, okay, now I could store that now. It's right here. I know I don't have anything in 4, so I just go. I press the store button, go to 4, and now it's in 4. So to prove that, I can turn it off, turn it on, select 4. I'm not used to looking at this sideways. Now, one of the nice...
Now that's only sequencing one of the SCMs, right?
That's right.
Wow, that sounds
Yeah.
huge.
So now, let's say
That's
that
just
you
one
want a
module.
2-voice
That's
polyphonic sequence.
There's a whole nother.
So what you can do is go to Edit B. Now these knobs, that's still in there. Now we're doing. There's not a lot of editing, but one of the things you can do, again, we have to go into edit mode. I'm going to ratchet to that one and do a rest there. And what ratcheting is it within the space of a step that's a constant length because of the clock. You can double or triple or quadruple the gates.
Oh, that's cool.
So let's say that I keep that and make that one a rest. So now whereas you can do ratcheting and rest per step, you can do gate length for this whole sequence. And so you could have a in other words, as the gates get longer and longer. You can't do that per step, but you can do it per sequence. So if you had a sequence where the gate length was short, and then you make a song from that sequence, or make several sequences, the same sequence, but a different gate length in each sequence, and then try to put them together in a song, it gets longer and shorter. No, I'm sorry. Okay.
You got your keyboard, huh?
Oh, yeah.
He brought
Look
his
at
keyboard
that.
in.
He wanted to show you his keyboard.
Oh, okay. I love it. And he's got 4. I've only got 2 voices. He's got 4 voices.
Yeah.